Yeah, hello and welcome back to the grind. This is this one here is a bit long and I apologize for that, but it's the way to get it all done. So I've got, as you can see, I got the car all taped up and I've got it painted, and then I put clear coat on it. And what else did I do? There was a bunch of work I did in this door here, and getting the doors lined up, getting the fenders lined up, all sorts of stuff that happened. I think this episode here was, did I do this episode or last episode? Fix the fender. Anyway, doesn't matter, because this week here it was mostly about getting it prepared for painting. Painted it with the color that I came up with, was the same color as I used in the interior. Now I did get some paint that was the original color of the car, but then I put this color on and I liked it. So I figured, well, I'll just stick with that color. And I like the color. Had a little bit of trouble with clear coat. Got spots like that. So I have to wait for about a week or two. I'm going to let it sit for a week or two before I try doing any remedial stuff on the paint work. And then we'll go from there. So next week we'll start doing our mechanical stuff anyhow, because it's time to get that going and see how things work out. So YouTube loves a good failure, so here's a good failure on the paint work here, eh? That's too bad. We'll just see how the roof is okay. That's a good sign. But mostly that's about as far as I can get with this week anyhow. And the clear coat I used was this stuff here, Duplicolor Color Sharp, and I only used like 1K paint all the way around. I didn't use 2K paint, and that's 1K clear coat also, so no hardener in it, and it seems to sit pretty good. For the parts that are good is great, but the parts that are not good are not so great. Anyway, I'm doing enough babbling, so here we go. We'll see you next time. I'll see what I can do about resurrecting this paint job, and come on back for more. There'll be more. See you later. Yeah, here I am back at it. Let me see. Didn't get much done yesterday. I don't know if I even filmed anything. I've put some more tape on those windows, and over here put some more tape on those windows. So that door there definitely has to be lifted up at that end, because the window is touching up there. So this has got to go like that. That'll affect this gap. We'll wait and see how it happens. Anyhow, I can fix that. We'll work with it anyhow. Then over here, this thing here was overlapping, hanging out, and all I did was just give this a bit of a bend right here, because it was coming up against the metal too, like it had been bent a bit there. So that's okay now. I'm happy with that right there. That'll be good. Now I got to take this off and paint just with the brush that interior color on the inside of that thing, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Maybe I'll even paint with a brush to the interior of that door there, so I don't have to worry about it. And I'll do the same on the other side too. Yeah, so there. Now I figure I'll take another run at getting that door flattened out just there. See what happens. Might take a couple more sweeps of that body filler. And same thing there. I'll put a little bit more there later. That I just sort of blew through to the paint there. That one there needs a bit more. This one here likely need another coat. Up here, there was a little tiny dent in there. I pounded it, like I straightened it out with a dolly and hammer, but then just put that over to cover up the hammer marks. Then here, there was somehow there was a dent right there. So I'm just going to form that, like I straightened it out with the hammer and dolly, well, hammer and a punch. And then I'm going to see if I can get that flattened out, get the hammer marks out of it. So that's that. And now these fenders are back on with a little bit of paint on the inside there, and I did get this sorted out here so it looks all right. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Now I'll just do some taping on the, while I'm waiting for this stuff to harden. It takes about 20 minutes or a half hour to harden. I'll do some taping on the back on here. And don't you know, the paint showed up today. So, I don't know, maybe I'll get some, I'll do some, whatever you call that, primer coat on it. And then I might just throw a coat of paint on it and see how it looks. What the hell. Because once you do that, then you don't have to worry about it anymore, except you got to worry about scratching the car every time you move around. But I think I can move this out somewhere. Actually, I'll just take that off of there and then move the sawhorse out. Get it out of my way. So I'll tape this up. Have to do all these things here. And then that thing there. And underneath here, I still haven't finished. Still haven't filled in that down below there. So maybe I'll do that. I'll take a look down below here before I do anything else. Yeah, so what's this, April Fools or something? It's April 3rd or 4th today. I think the 3rd. Thursday must be April 3rd. That's disappointing. Hey? Oh well. Yeah, up underneath here, see, I haven't got that sealed in there yet. So I just want to seal that. Looks like I got paint down into there all right. Must be able to reach your hand in there. Oh, I got in there with a long brush. Anyhow, I'll seal that up with metal to metal stuff just so that it's got a good, everything's sealed in there. Might have to just do a little bit of pounding on that. I don't want to pound on that. Okay. Anyhow. So I got that pretty close here with this. There was a little bit of bare metal here I covered, a little bit of bare metal here I covered, and over there I tried to get that body line in there, which I think is what was causing me grief. Anyway, now this thing here is good. That's nice and flat there. This thing here is nice. That'll work. Then I was in the back. In the meantime, I was taping up stuff. I don't know if I showed you any of this. Yeah, taping up the lights and stuff. I'll have to put a piece of paper over that. And then this stuff in here hardened enough that I painted that in there. So it's all sealed up good, and there's no chance of water getting in there anymore. That's good. So slowly it's coming together as a car. Now, the paint arrived today. I got 2 quarts of the color. I wonder if that's enough or not. Well, we'll find out. I'll use it up, and then if I need more, I'll get more. See what happens. Yeah, there, finally. You have this, I think, to my satisfaction here. No metal showing a little bit. Maybe right there, just barely coming through. And here you can see the pencil mark here. So I'm down to that level, pencil mark here, down to that level that I was at. So I think that's pretty good. And then I did this too, and I've got that, figured out how to do this body line here. Now here, the body line kind of disappears because of all the body work in there, but that's okay. Down there it's all right. It comes along here, and it hits right here. Now that's, you know, the belt line kind of disappears there for a bit, but that's, you know, how it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and finish taping it up. I've got to just tape up that hole there, then tape that thing so that it doesn't get any paint in it. Then I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the door off. I'm going to get those fenders bolted on sort of permanent. In fact, yeah, I'll get the back end of them. This part where they bolt in here, I'll bolt that on permanent. And then that way you don't have to, they're done. And I'll just paint them and that's good. Then I'll put the doors back on. I'll put the hood on it. I'll finish taping up here. I'll put the hood on it so that it's just up a bit. And then I'll be able to paint into here and paint along that edge and do the hood and everything when I'm painting. So it'll all be, and get that painted up and everything done. So we'll just see how we can come together here. Yeah, there it is, taped up. So this part's taped. That'll keep the dust and everything out of there. Then that part, the windows are taped. Still have to, I'll have to tape this along here, but I'm going to take the door off and bolt that on before I do any painting. So I'll tape that up as we go. When we're ready, this thing here is taped. What a fine bit of camouflage that is. It used to be a car, right? Anyway, looks like it's set for primer, and then maybe we'll put the I got a bunch of sanding to do, and then we'll do the primer, and then we'll do the paint on it maybe. And I think I will put the deck lids on to paint. Yeah, but that's another day done, so we'll see you tomorrow perhaps. Bye for now. Yeah, so my friend Gus was over, and he helped me get these things on. Like it's sitting up on, like it's touching over in underneath there, because I don't want to go through the plastic yet. And I've got this thing across to hold it from going down through the plastic and hold that spring up. So that'll sit there all right. That I've got a bend on there, maybe. Didn't notice that before. No, same on this side, so I guess it's supposed to be there. Okay, that'll be fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the doors and install the fenders forever, because I think they're pretty close to, like that's going to sit down right on that edge there, eh? Which it's supposed to do. And here it's going to come down pretty close to that edge. It's got to go that way a little bit, but it sort of hangs over it a bit. So that'll be good. The front edge just about lines up, but I think it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. A little bit of a overhang. I don't know. Don't remember my old car, but it's got, like, there's chrome trim that goes around here, so that even makes it come out a bit farther. Hey, am I pointing the right way? Anyway, that's on. And this one here, this is on. It won't go down any farther because I've got those things right there, stop it from going down. Suppose I could do the same trick as I did on the front and put it, bend them around. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, but for now I'm not gonna fuss too much about it. They seem to be okay. I only went through the plastic once, so I'll tape that up. Then it's all set for sanding, and like all this needs is like a 300 grit on this, and I'll put another coat of primer on top of that. This is the white primer. That's rattle can primer. This one here is the gray primer. That one's water based. This is oil based. So I'll put a coat of oil based on top of that. The paint that I've got is water based. I've never let's see what happens with that. Might be a complete disaster. Maybe not. But it looks like a bit of a car nowadays. There. Starting to come together. Need to do a little bit of work right there, which is okay. And that's all going to be covered by the trim anyhow, so it's not too worrisome. Anyway, so I'll get the so what I have to do now is take the doors off again. Then I'll get the fenders mounted and put seam sealer along everything, and they'll be mounted for permanent, and that will be good because I've got got a bucket full of bolts here for doing that. That bucket full of bolts right there is for fender mounts. Okay, anyhow, I'll get at it. Okay, there's that fender's back on. Like, that looks just normal again, but I put some bolts in here, and it's got it sucked back this way. Hopefully it's not too far, and then it's all solid. 2 bolts in there, you can't see. 1 bolt goes right in here, going that way. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts along there. A bolt at the top here that holds across through that little tab that I made, and then at the bottom it just floats, I think. Anyway, there it is. It looks like it comes there okay. We'll just see. Okay, I'll put the door back on, I hope. Yeah, door's back on, and not bad. Gap here is nice. Bottom's pretty even. Top might be just not even a 16th high. Maybe a 1 millimeter high. So I can adjust that later. This thing here, when it opens, when I first had it on, it was opening and touching here. But now it has plenty of clear there now. Down here, it's still got that little tiny bit of a lip there that it's supposed to be flat across there. I'll see about, I don't know what to do about that, but I'll think about it. Might be able to do something with this down here. Anyhow, that's looking pretty good if I just put the door even there. Like that body line follows right along. So yeah, I think I got it pretty close to the right height. Looks good. Okay, well, I'll be happy with that for now. This is on, that's the last, I hope, the last time that I have to put that on there. I've got it on, I've got seam sealed behind it, and ready to, need to do some sanding on it and stuff like that, especially up in here. Clean it up a bit, and then it's ready to paint. This stuff here, like that's, I'm not too concerned about that because I'm going to put some silver stuff in there to, dampen the sound. These things here I've just got on there to hold this, like that thing there. You see that right there? See where they cross? This and that hold these. That's a heavy-duty spring, this thing. So it holds it up from whacking everybody. Anyway, this has to be closed over with. I'll tape that back down. Whoops, right here. Tape that back down. Anyway, that's, I think we're good for today. Let's see what time it is, I wonder. Yeah, it's 10 to 5, so I'll just let that be for tomorrow. I'll do this side and this door tomorrow. These ones here, I've got a new batch of things, like these bolts here. I think I showed you. Anyhow, but I'll put them in to hold this fender on, and that'll all be new hardware and everything in there. The other side, I really should have changed them, but I didn't, and so there you go. Anyway, all looking pretty good. Oh, here I am back again. Hey, and I've got the fender and the door off this side, which is a passenger side, right hand side. Now, these are the new thingamajigs. Where are they? It looks like that. And they're new, for holding on fenders and stuff, right? The old ones were like this, and they had just a little thing for grabbing. But these ones here, when you put them on, you have to tighten them in, or else they'll just flop around in there. So you tighten them in, then they'll find the proper hole and stay there in the right spot for when you want to put the screw in all the way along. This one here gets one on this side right here, which I've tightened in. And then the little gap will be covered over by this part right here. So now seam sealer, and along there and along there. Likely I should put a bit here too, eh? I didn't on the other side. Think about it. Yeah, so that's all on and solid. That gap looks good. I'll peel the seam sealer out of there. This all looks okay. That all looks good. It's all tight. This one here I tightened. The other side I've got the bolt side in here. So I might switch that around to make it look like this, because this one here, the bolt was too big. The nut part was too big to go in there and in behind. So I just put the bolt part back there. Maybe I did that on the other side too. I don't know. Let me look. Let me look. No, see this side here, I've got the nut out here, or the bolt part out here. So I'll switch that around to make it look the same, just because. Anyway, now, where am I? Put the door back on, see if I can get it adjusted to close to right. And then, I wonder if this should go on. No, not yet. Ooh, I wonder what I should do about the inside of that door. Think about that. Okay. Yeah, before this door goes on for the umpteenth last time, I'll do I've got to do some body, like, filler in here, just the metal to metal stuff, so that it seals up any pinholes that are left over in there, and that'll be good. Then what else do I have to do? And then paint. I'm going to paint it that interior color along in here and along in there. Yeah, there, that seam is fixed up. Now, have to wait for this to dry. Then I'll give it a coat of paint here and put it back on there. In the meantime, I'm just about out of my mixed colored paint. I've got blue, but I should go get another quart of black and another quart of blue. Maybe I'll do that while I'm just waiting for stuff to dry. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so this, what did I do? See what the other door looks like over here. See all that old glue and stuff on it there? So I didn't clean that off, but I just painted over it so it would look, look a decent color. And I've got some stuff that'll just go on there and glue onto it. Sticky paper or sticky carpet underlay, which is a trick that I learned from, what do you call those guys? Budget Builds. So you just put carpet underlay, carpet saver on there. And then I figured I'd just go ahead and paint this is filled along here. And I figured I'd just paint the whatever I did there, paint the whole door on the inside with that color. Now this later it might get like the actual outside color on here, because that might look better. But as far as the underneath of the door and everything like that goes, it's fine to be that interior color. So that can be, I'll be happy with that. Anyway, there you go. That's that bit done. But that's about it for today anyhow, because, not much else I can do on waiting to dry, waiting for that to dry. Then I'll put the door back onto it. This here is on and solid now. And see how that lines up real nice there, hey? On there. This one here, not quite as well. I think I've got the fender back a bit far, maybe. No, it's good here and it's good there. So, let me just get that off of there. Oh yeah, it's got a bit of bend in it. So if I do that, it'll come down flat. Let's see how we can make that better. I'll think about that a bit because it's got to be. That's funny the way that fits on there. I don't know. Don't know what's going on. Is there something holding it back? I don't know. Anyway, this thing here might be not quite far enough out. So I'll think about that too. I could put some filler in here just to make that come out a bit more. Because this part here, well, it's still pretty close to there now. Real close if you do that. I'll think about that. Anyway, that's enough for today. I'll think it over. Yeah, there, that door is back on and I've adjusted it a little bit better. That gap, I like that gap. And then it opens and closes without rubbing on here. Touches the, we'll see how that works once we get the rubber in there. But I think it'll be okay. Might have to go forward a tiny bit, but there is room for a bit of forward motion on it. This gap here, like down here and up here, it's okay. In the middle, it's a little bit wider because that's the way that fender is. But then when you open it, there's this bit here. So it could go ahead another 1/16 of an inch if it had to. Anyway, but I'm not gonna, I'll leave it as it is for now. And that's good. The other door, I'm gonna go on the other door and see about painting the inside of it and making it look like this door. But that'll be, I'll just take a minute and do that. Yeah, I'm doing stuff, but I haven't filmed much. So I went and I painted the inside of this door. The door's off, right? You can see that. So I painted the inside with that darker color. See a couple of runs there. Maybe I'll see if I can catch those things off. And then over here, this door, I painted the inside of the frame, same thing, right? With that dark color. Then this door here, this is the driver door, so I cleaned that off and painted it up with that nice color. I like that. I'm getting to like that color. What I might do is I might lay down a coat of that color on the whole car. I'll do the primer, do a coat of that color in the whole car or two, and then that'll give it a nice dark background, and then I'll put the final color on top, and that might make the final color just a bit deeper than what it is. So it might look good. It might look like terrible, but it might be okay. It might be fun. What the hell? So we'll see. It'll be my own color, whatever it is anyhow. So now I have to wait around for stuff to dry, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so all the while waiting around for stuff to dry, and I've been going over the car with this thing here, including the front, this part, what do you call that? The hood, engine bonnet. Now right here, I don't know, you can you see that outline? Yeah, you can see that in there. A little bit of a low spot right in there that I'm going to put a little bit of body filler on that and make that flat. Put a pencil mark around it so that I know when I've got it sanded down to the right level. Anyhow, and the pencil mark's on the high spot, the low spot I'll fill. This thing here finished doing that door and got that sanded off at the bottom, so it looks pretty good now. That makes the door look good inside, right? So that'll be okay. Anyhow, now I'll mix up a little bit of that stuff, mastic plastic, and put it on there and let that dry, and then that'll be pretty near it for the day. Yeah, there, I put a little bit of stuff right on there. A little tiny dent in that from when it came. Didn't notice it until today. There was a little dent up here too, so I got hit somewhere, somehow. I don't know whether it was me or somebody else or whatever. Then I did a bit of body stuff on there. And then waiting for all this to dry. Eh? So I'll be dry tomorrow. Put the doors back on, and then I'm pretty near finished sanding. I still have to sand around the back because that door was in the way. But mostly finished sanding, and then next step is, we'll finish up this bit of body work here. This little tiny bit here. But mostly it's looking pretty good. So when I use 120 on this, I let it wear down pretty good, and it comes out like a 300. If you need it sanded down to about 300, put primer on, and then after that you sand down lighter. So after I finish with this, I'll go over it lightly with like a 300 grit, just in my hand. Some of it here, I think I got some 600 here or something. Don't know what that is. 320. I've got lots of 320 here. Well, it used to be lots less 320 than there used to be. What's this stuff here? Yeah, that's 320. There's lots of 320. Okay, so lots and lots of 320 to use. Okay, so that's enough for today. See you later. Yeah, there I've taped up the door so that nothing can get in through there. Nothing can get in through the windows. I don't think, well, there's always a place where something can get in, but for now, most of the outside is covered. This door here is on, and the gaps are reasonably good. Like, I'm happy there. This one here might be a little bit tight, so the whole door might have to shift back a bit. But I'll wait until this thing here is fitted properly. The engine bonnet's fitted properly before I do any of that. Next, I have to, oh, we're getting close here, eh? Anyhow, next I have to sand this off and sand this off. And then I'll sand the rest of the car that I haven't sanded yet. Rest, like all that, the roof is done. It's done back to the back of the car here. Engine bonnet, or what's that, trunk lid needs to be done, and the underneath of the trunk lid, and then this side here, the back, well, from this door down has to be sanded. But first we'll get this right here sanded. There, that didn't take long. Now you can sort of see my pencil mark here, so it's down to the level, should be level across there. It feels okay. A little bit of sanding right there to do. Yeah, now it's mostly sanded off, so I'm going to take that leaf blower, blow out all the dust here. Then I'll take some, like, just a damp cloth and wipe it all down. Get some fresh water, wipe it all down with a damp cloth and a little bit of Dawn soap perhaps. A couple of spots here where I need to get some grease stuff on it, and a couple of spots where I need to put some rust converter on it. This is for the that. Anyway, I'll get at it with the blower. Yeah, I guess all the car is sanded and ready to prime. So what I'll do now is get my plastic stuff up here and around there, and then get it cleaned up and see if I can do some painting. Yeah, there, I got my paint booth up. That was quicker than I anticipated also. Went along pretty well. So now, that's the next step. Now I'd have to clean off the car and run a tack cloth on it and then give it a coat of paint. So maybe I'll clean it off today, then I'll do it again tomorrow. Like I've got perhaps I'll vacuum the floor in here. That'd be a good idea, is vacuum all this area that is in the zone of painting. That'll get rid of dust problems like right there. Okay, next is vacuuming. Yeah, so the taping's never done until the taping's done, so tape these guys off. Even covered my little lift here. But I discovered something while I was doing this. You always discover stuff. I don't know if you can see in here. Let me get a light. Let me get a light. I wonder where my light went. Hang on. I left it in the car, maybe? No, there it is right there. Okay. Yeah, look at that right there. There's a crack in that right there. That's disappointing. I think like I'll just have to do a bit of welding on it and see how it works out. I checked the other side. The other side looks good. Funny the way this car just welds and like rusts in some places and doesn't rust anywhere else. Anyhow, I don't know if there's another one right over there on top of that where the drive shaft is. Might be. Might have to take out that member and do some work on it. Oh dear. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll just cross that bridge shortly. Sorry. Yeah, I'll shut you off. Yeah, that's definitely disappointing. It's all coming apart there. All rusted. Yeah, you can feel on the top here. I don't know if you can see on the top. There's a hole there. The side's okay. You can see here where it's coming through. Now, I'll have to just take that off of there and fix that. I guess it's not that tough to get off. These things here come off there. 2 bolts there. The trailing arms have to come down. So if I'm taking the trailing arms down, I might as well get new rubbers for them, right? Oh dear. Oh dear. Then, yeah, that's disappointing. Oh well. Can't have everything. You sure can have a lot of disappointment sometimes, though, eh? I think everything else is all right. Don't know. Must have just got filled up full of water, salt and stuff, and just rusted away. Oh well, I'll just take it apart and have a good look at it and fix it. Yeah, right here you can even see right here. All around this part here is good. That holds on to the whatever you call this, differential. So I don't have to take the differential out. I can, yeah, so I can leave that in there. Just take it apart here and there. Let that all drop. 4 bolts here. 4 bolts, 2 bolts there. 2 bolts there. 2 bolts there and there. So anyway, that's after it's painted, I'll do that. Okay. Wonder how much. There's no play at all in that differential, so I'm not going to dick with it. I'll check the oil in it and see what it's like. Somehow. Wonder where you check the oil in this thing. That's where you drain the oil. Right there. Okay, that's where you check the oil. So I'll do that one of these times, sometime soon. Okay, anyhow. Oh well, there's the welding never ends, right? Okay, see you later. Anyway, that's enough for today. We'll see you tomorrow. More adventures. Here I am, back again, and new day. So I've got a bucket full of fresh water, and I turned on the, like it's warm enough now, that I turned on the outside water. So I've got a tap right over there, if you can see that. And that comes underneath the ground all the way from up there, the house. So anyhow, I drain that in the winter time and use it in the summer. So gonna just take I've got that, and I've got a little bit of Dawn soap in there. So I'm gonna just take the damp rag and wipe it all down. I'll show you a bit while I do it. Hang on. Start at the top, work to the bottom. But not a wet rag, just a damp rag. I'll do it once and then I'll do it again. Gets rid of all the leftover dust and stuff. So I'll do the whole car, and then I'll do it once again, right? That's repeating myself there. If you enjoyed that. And then I'll see if I can remember the things I forgot to do, right? That'll be like watching paint dry there. A pretty good bit of dirt came off with that. So I'll catch you up as I go along. Yeah, so I gave it a wipe down number 1, ready for wipe down number 2, clean water, more soap, clean rag. Now, when you're wiping it down, you find little things like there was a piece of rust here that I'd missed. So I sanded it off and then put rust converter on it. And over here, another little bit that I missed right there. So that's all right. And then on here, all the things you mean to get to. So I sanded this off so it looked smooth here because it was fairly abrupt. Anyway, that's done. So I'll give it another wipe down, and then I think we're pretty near ready to put a coat of primer on it. See what happens. Yeah, there we go, done again. So next step is to mix up some paint, go over it with the tack cloth, and lay down some paint. See how that'll work out. You can sort of tell when you're running it over with that cloth like that, if it sticks anywhere, then it's not smooth enough. But the cloth didn't stick anywhere, and so everything seems to be okay. I'll give it about 20 minutes to dry off well from my dampening. I don't see any more problems anywhere. Or I guess I don't see any more problems that I'm going to address anymore. Because there's still a couple of spots, but that's fine. They won't, won't notice them in the big world. I think we're good. This part here, I'm not going to be too fussed about that. I'll run over it with the primer, but I'm going to get that just the color of the interior stuff, and then lay it down and paint. like paint the exterior. That'll be good. That's after I get this thing here painted. Then I'll lay that down and paint that. But, or maybe not that order, some order. Don't touch. I was going to touch right there and just see how it felt, but that's underneath the trim there anyhow, so we're good. Yeah, pretty near ready to go. It's only a couple hours later. I don't know what time it is now. I'll check the time. Time is 3:21. Yeah, I can get the couple of coats of primer on, let it sit overnight, and then I'll think about it tomorrow. The one thing important to do is to get all the kinks out of your hose and make sure it reaches everywhere you want to go. Because if it doesn't reach everywhere you want to go, then you'd be in trouble, right? So we'll just get around here. Yeah, it reaches everywhere. And then the other thing, like this plastic stuff, it waves in the wind. So I've got it tied down here with a magnet on a metal. I got it tied down here with the light on the vise. This will come down and it'll keep it on that side, I hope. There's my gun ready to go for the primer. At the one, what do I have here? I have 1.4, I think. Yeah, 1.4 tip on that for primer. Then, see, now I've got this taped down here so that when that blows, it's not going to blow it into the car. Put my coat outside. I will. This is set to go. I've got so air comes in at the top because it's open 2 inches, and then I've got the bottom blocked off with 2x4s, but the fan there to take the air out. So the flow should go this way, or this, this way. And I'll turn off the heater, which would be a good idea so I don't get paint all into that. Then, what else? I think I'm set. Mix up some paint and then we'll get at it. So it's this trim-clad gray primer, oil-based. And they say to mix it with, if you're going to mix it, you mix it with mineral spirits for this stuff. Usually with trim-clad paint, I use acetone. But it says if you're going to mix it on the side here, use mineral spirits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it 3-to-1. So I'll put it up to 5 here and then 5 here, and that should make it thin enough. If it's not thin enough at that point, then I'll throw a bit more in. All I'm doing is thinning it so it'll go through the gun easily, right? Then I can make it. We'll just see. I think 3-to-1 will work. Anyway, now I've got to have a stir stick somewhere. There's a stir stick. And set to go. Yeah, there, that's mixed up like, so it goes like that, eh? That might be a bit thin, but we'll just see how it lays on there. See how it works. Now, anyhow, now I'm going to put a piece of paper over there, tape it on so that I can have something to spray on to test my spray pattern. Then we'll go from there. Yeah, what am I doing here? Wrong hand. I'm not a left-handed sprayer. Anyhow, so I've pre-adjusted it so that this thing here, it's going to run at about 25 psi. There's an air filter there, right? And I've pre-adjusted this stuff. When you're setting it up, you pull the gun, pull the trigger all the way back, turn that knob in until it gives it a bit of pressure, then let the trigger go and turn the knob another 1 turn. This knob here, you turn it all the way out and then turn it in a half a turn or so. Then you try it out and see how it looks. That's not bad, hey? Okay, I'm gonna just get rid of you because it's a kind of a one-man job now, and I gotta put my mask on. Put my mask on, start up the fan, and give it a go. I'll show you a bit of it as it goes along. Yeah, here's coat 1 of primer. Bit of a run right there. Uh-oh. I'll fix that. I've got lots of little dots on it. I don't know what that's from, but hopefully they'll go away with the second coat. And if they don't, I'll sand it off and do some more. Anyway, that's pretty good. Looks nice. Nice to have it all in one color. And a bit of a mark there. Run there, run there. Oh, a bunch of runs. And a drip right there. Get that. Run there. So, got some sanding to do after 20 minutes or so. I might have to make it less mixed, or whatever you call that, less runny. Anyway, pretty good start. Okay, so there's first coat of primer on there. And this stuff here is pretty slow drying. It's not, I didn't put any activator in it, or I didn't put any hardener in it. And so I'll have to wait till tomorrow, and then see little marks there. I'll take some 1000 grit sandpaper, or 600 grit or something, mark there, sand down, you know, and just clean up all these little things that you can see along here. There's a run there, another run, another run. There's only 3 or 4 runs. That's not too bad for this thing. A good run right there. And then I forgot to paint this bit here. Well. So, but anyhow, but it looks like it's not bad. This thing here, that part, like it needs another coat of primer, I think, be a good idea. It won't hurt it anyhow. So I'll sand it off, put another coat of primer on, and see what we can do then. Another run right there, but I'll find all these runs. And then what I did was I think I had it too thin, so next time I'll just make it like I had it 3:1. So if I made it 4:1 or 6:1, yeah, maybe I'll make it 6:1 or something like that. 6 parts and then just 1 part of thinner. And then that will make it just so it flows. I had it like too thin. So anyhow, but just keep on experimenting. And then the next stuff is normal. Well, nothing's normal around here. I'll put a coat of that dark colored stuff on, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, that's enough for today. See you tomorrow. Yeah, they're sat overnight now, and it actually looks pretty darn good. Now here, like, there's a spot here I need to do a bit of sanding on that, and we'd have to just take 1000 grit and go over the thing, because you can feel little nibs on it, right? And then right here there's a bit of a run right there, but it flattened out pretty good. So it takes just a bit of sanding to get that fixed. Find the other runs. There's one run way up there, you can see it. So I'll fix that. Then I don't think I have to, I don't think it needs another coat. Like the one coat's all it calls for on the paint can. And said you can top coat after 24 hours. So that would be today. That mark there, I should get off of there. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go and clean up all the little runs and stuff. There's Like there was a run here yesterday, but it flattened itself out. It just dried off and went flat. So that's good. I shouldn't really be touching it, but I'm going to hit it with a bit of sandpaper. So first thing, there's a good run there, eh? I'll sand that off. So first thing I'll do is I'll go over and I'll find all the runs and sand them. Then next thing I'll do is give it just a light sanding over the whole car with 1000 grit. Wipe it off, and then well, I'll just wipe it off with a tack cloth. I think I'll get most of it that way. We'll see. I'll wipe it off with a dry cloth first, then a tack cloth, and then see how that works out. Okay, here I go. There, I sanded it all off, 1000 grit. Now I'm just going to go with this cloth here and see if I can get the dust off of it. Then I'll take a tack cloth to it. This seems to work all right. And you can feel if there's any bumps left in it with this cloth, all right. So anyway, I won't bore you with this too much. Yeah, so I wiped it all down with a tack cloth. And when you rub it with a tack cloth, you can feel if there's any places where it's not smooth, sticking. And so it all feels pretty good. I think we're okay for a coat of paint. So what I'm going to do, I've got this up. I'm going to paint the inside of this with the, with the blue color, everything's a blue color, with the interior color of the car, same as what in the trunk and the engine and the interior. I'm going to paint that with that color in here. Same with the trunk lid. I'm going to paint that on the inside. Then I'm going to lower it down and give it. Then I'm going to paint the whole car with that color, just so it's got a nice, dark finish underneath. Then I'll put the finishing coat on top, and that might make the color a little bit richer, or it might make it terrible. So we'll just see. But we'll give it a go and see what happens. Yeah, there's the test strips there. A little bit on the door. I think that's pretty good pattern. So turn on the fan and get at her. I've got that turned off. So I'm going to paint this back thing here first, and then I'll do the front. Then we'll see how we go from there. So I mixed that up. I really don't know exactly, but I think it's like 8 parts to 2 parts for thinner, and I used acetone for thinner. 8 parts to 3 parts, maybe, something like that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. There we go, try that. That went on pretty nice. Coat number 1. Now I'll do the inside of that, and then I'll carry on. So I'll put you away for a while. I'll show you how I get along. Yeah, there's one coat of my color. Boy, oh boy, that's a nice looking color on that car. I'm almost inclined to leave it that color. It covers really nice, and it sits down nice and flat. no thinking about it. I don't know what to do now. Oh dear, tripping over stuff anyhow. But I could use another coat anyhow, and I've run out of paint, so I'll have to go get another couple of quarts of paint. Let this thing set up for a while. And that'll be fine. Isn't that nice? Went on nice too, like the I ran out of paint one time, so I've got a couple of spots where it's kind of dry on it, but I'll let it sit and harden and then see how it goes from there. Yeah, that covered pretty nice, like really nice. So now what? What'll I do? What'll I do? I love it when a color comes out nice like that. Very little orange peel, like more like an OEM finish there. I'll have to get my light out and get a good look at it. Hang on. There's light. Yeah, that sat down. That paint just sort of sits down nice and flat. There's a couple of little specks in it up above here, but what do you expect, eh? From our garage type paint job. Yeah, that's all sitting nice and flat. Looks exceptionally good. Boy, oh boy. Now I've got 3 quarts of the other paint of the original color, but I don't know whether I want to change this color. I'll think about it for a while. Oh, so I have to just do some cleanup now, and then I might put another coat of this paint on, so I'll have to go get more. But that can wait till tomorrow, and I can recoat it tomorrow. Or wait till later. I'll go into town and get some more paint. But first I'll clean up this, and then we'll go from there. Ah, back. So I think it's just about time for a recoat, second coat. So I've decided I'm going to stick with this color. I like the color, and I think it'll look fine. It'll look really nice on the car. It's just different. Like, you know, it's not the stock color, but it's certainly not a color that you see on any BMWs anywhere. So that's all right with me. We'll just go with it for a while and see how I like it. And I've got that other paint that I did purchase for the proper color, so that might end up on the Mini Cooper. You never know. We'll see what happens. But for now, I'm happy with this color here, so I'm just gonna lay on another coat of it and see, like, some of the sand marks are still in there, that you can see them. But another coat of paint and then clear on top of that should cover that up, we hope. We'll wait and see. Well, what the hell. Don't know. Now, this, I went and I mixed up a big batch of it, because last time I had to go and stop in the middle of painting and mix up another batch, and then you get a little bit of dry spots and trying to keep a wet edge and blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff. It gets you nervous. So that's mixed up with the, like it's, so I put in, you can't see now, I put in from on here, I measured it in here out of the can, up to number 12, no, up to 14, and then with the blue, and then I put 12.25 with the black, and that comes out to the color. It's kind of like 7 to 8, 7 blacks and 8 8 blues and 7 blacks. And then I've got in here 2 ounces of, or 4 ounces, 2 parts of thinner, and I'll measure in up to about, I don't know how much in there. I'll measure up to about 12, and that, what did I say? It's 8 to 2 or something? Yeah. So I'll measure up to 10 or 12 on here, and that should be okay. Okay, well, I'll mix it up and see. Yeah, here we go. I'll put another coat on. I hadn't had it set up right. There's coat number 2 on it. Looks pretty good. A little bit of orange peel, but not bad. Not any more than a, what they call an OEM finish, right? Over here though, massive run. And then I tried to fix it, made it worse of course. So I'll have to wait and let that dry, and I'll sand it down and paint it up again. But mostly, I think that's the only run. What happened is I got that filled up and it poured off the top, on the other side. Anyway, that'll be, I gotta get out of here because I've had enough fumes. I'll give it a half hour and come back. Can't get out. Stuck. There. Fumes are coming out there. Anyway, so I'll give it a half hour and come back. Yeah, maybe 25 minutes later. Things are looking pretty good, I think. Can't see up there, you can. That back deck looks fine, looks nice. The back of the car looks nice. I think there's a bit of a dry spot right there, but you can't really tell. Anyway, but that's okay. It's all, I'll do a clear coat on it tomorrow. A little bit of orange peel there, but nothing that nothing I'm going to fuss about, that's for sure. Actually, it all laid down, like it really laid down nice and flat on the back of the car here. That stuff, when you get it right, it lays down nice and flat. When you make a run, it runs and runs and runs. So this like the engine bonnet, that came out nicely. Happy with that. I'll get up and have a look at the roof tomorrow. Can't see it right now. This stuff down here all came out okay. Oh, what a terrible run. Look at that. Isn't that awful? Oh well, fix that tomorrow. Tried to fix it, but sometimes you can chase a run down to the end of the paint, but that one there is more than I can chase. That little run that was in it right there from before, you can still see it. I thought I'd got that sanded out, but apparently not. So this tomorrow, I'll have to just like tape it off here and maybe I'll just tape off that whole panel, sand that bit, and repaint the panel, put another coat on the panel. Like, I don't have to sand right through, I just have to sand the bumps off. Well, hope to sand the bumps off. I've already proven I'm not really very good at that. Anyhow, a little bit more aggressive sandpaper than what I was using. I was using 1000 grit for that, and I should have been using something a little bit more aggressive, I guess. But we'll get it. It'll all get done tomorrow. Yeah, and then I'll just tape, like I'll put a piece of paper along here, piece of paper along there, sort of get that enclosed, and then respray that panel there. So that'll look okay. Actually, it came out very nice. Then maybe tomorrow afternoon I can get, if I get out in the morning and do that fix up, in the afternoon I might be able to do a clear coat, or just wait another day and do the clear coat. Anyhow, but now I'm in cleanup mode. That's really a nice color. It really turned out really to a nice color. I like it. It's an interesting color. Anyway, that's good. Okay, so here I go. Clean up. Oh, clean up your mess, Lauren. This is all the paint I have left, so use it sparingly. Yeah, so that thing caught quite a bit of water today. I wonder if my other thing over there did. I'll check. Hang on. I'll just check here and see how much, if any water came out of here. Oh, up on old men getting down here on my knees. Yeah, there's that much water. That and that. So the thing actually works. It's got a little bit of a leak there anyhow, so what it does is it lets the water out slowly. And then I imagine this thing's full of water too, so I better empty it. Water, water everywhere. So you get down underneath here. And I'll see if I can do this. Well, I guess I gotta get a pair of pliers. Yeah, I got a pair of pliers and just started it. There's water coming out. Oh, just that much. Not bad. So there, let that dry off. That's another. Everything's empty now. Yeah, there, I'll just let it set for the night and I'll come see it tomorrow morning and see how things look. I don't imagine that run will fix itself, but oh, you can see it from a half mile away, so that's a serious run. Anyway, okay, I'll get out of here and come back tomorrow and see if I can get that run fixed, and then what do we do after that? Then we'll just, might have to wait today to, well, then I really do have to clear coat it sometime tomorrow, because otherwise it's past the due date. So I'll get out tomorrow morning early and get that fixed over there, and then come and clear coat it. Okay. Yeah, I'm back, and it's looking pretty darn good. I did a nice job on that door. Not a bit of a ripple. The other door has a little bit of a, this door is not as good. You can see a little ripple in it right here. But that's all right. That's how it is. And as far as all the runs, there's a couple of spots here. They're done. Can't do anything about them. And the hood, it looks great. This part here that I was fixed, I'm glad I fixed it, because otherwise it would have bothered me forever. But there is those two runs up here. You can hardly see them. One's right there and one's right there. That are too bad. Oh well. Now, but there's a run that came from the center of the earth here. It comes all the way down here. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. And then across this stuff here and run a little bit there. And what happened is I put too much paint on here, then it it came off like a dam giving way. Then I tried to clean it up a bit, and it did not bad for cleaning up here, but then it reorganized down here. Sometimes you can chase, like if you put enough paint on, you can chase it drip right down to the bottom, but it just wasn't doing it. So got a bucket full of water, got a piece of 320 sandpaper, and that will be what I do here. I'll show you in a minute. Well, I'll just put a bit of water on there to start with, and then get my sandpaper out. See how it goes. It won't take too much sanding to get this off because it's all pretty soft stuff, eh? I hope. We'll see. It goes right up there. Yeah, they're coming off pretty quick because it's not completely hardened, all that. So I'll just keep this up for a while, and I'll check back with you after a bit. Yeah, now I've made a real mess, hey? Now, I remember now, too late, that if you have a run like I had here, you can take a razor blade and just chop off the high bits, let it set for a while, and then sand it. But I started sanding, and then it got into gummy stuff, and then got gummy stuff everywhere, and then I figured, well, I'll try some mineral spirits, and mineral spirits just made the paint all soft everywhere. So then the last thing I've done is I put some acetone on there, and acetone, you know, dries out real quick, and so hopefully this stuff will dry. I'll give it, you know, give it a little while, give it an hour or so, and come back and see if I can sand it off so that it's nice. Then, because I've got all the lumpy stuff is out of it now, just a matter of getting it smooth down to paint here. I even took, like, it was so soft I was able to take this and scrape off layers of paint, but I don't want to scrape off any more now. Anyway, there was lots of paint on there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it be for a while and then come back to it later. Yeah, so finally I think I'm ready for a respray. It's another 24 hours gone by. That hardened up pretty good, and I was able to get it sanded off reasonably well. This, I don't know if that's liable to show in the final, but we'll just wait and see how that works out. It can't. The more I sand on it, the more a mess I make. So we'll let it be. This thing here, we'll see if that'll buff out, right? Anyway, this part here feels really nice. So I'll give it another coat of spray, this whole panel here, and then, a couple of coats maybe. Anyhow, we'll get it done, and then we'll just see what the next step is. I have to wait for a while for it to dry, and then we'll put a clear coat on it. This video is getting pretty long, but I'm pretty sure that if I didn't finish it up with the clear coat, you guys would be mad at me, so I'll get it done. Yeah, there's refinish coat number 1 on. No runs. You can see that little bit of a line right there. And that might cover up by the time I get the clear on it. That might not. Wishful thinking, I think. Anyhow, I'll leave that for about a half hour and come back and do another coat. Yeah, so now, there we are. That's 2 coats, which is more than enough for here. All those drips are gone. That's nice there. But you can see that. I don't know if you can see that in the right there. You can see that bit of a line that I didn't get sanded down far enough. Oh well. Now, here there was, in the first coat, there was a little bit of a sag right there. You can barely see that. Anyway, that's how it is. A little bit of a sag right there too, but I'm not gonna fuss with that. It'll be covered by the engine bonnet. Now, so it says in the instructions to, like, clear coat it after before 24 hours is up. So tomorrow I'll get out here before noon and do that. And after 48, and before noon it will be after 48 for the rest of the car. So I guess I'm in the rules. We'll just see how it works out. But I gotta wait till tomorrow. It's just gotta sit here and dry. This stuff here is all pretty nice. Like I think tomorrow there's a couple of little specks, like, I don't know, can you see that speck there? Yeah, the speck there, speck there. A couple of little specks, a little speck right there. And I'll take, 1,000 grit paper and just give it a light rub, take the top off it, and then clean it off and clear coat. So anywhere that's, like there's a little spot right there. And those are, I don't know what those are, but they're spots. There's only about 20 of them on the car, as far as I can tell. A couple of little spots, but nothing too big, nothing too serious. Anything I find, I'll just give it a touch with sandpaper. There's a run here that I missed, but I'm not going to fuss with that one because that's going to get into the same area that I got the other side there, which is just an awful mess. Anyway, that might have been a run on the underneath coat, the primer coat. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with it all. A couple of little pinholes along here. They should cover in with the what do you call that? With the clear. Well, they will or they won't. Doesn't matter. A man on horseback, as I usually say, he's gonna be happy with this, and I'm pretty happy with it the way it is right now, anyhow. So, anyway, I gotta wait another 24 hours, and after that, maybe we'll be able to do some more work on it. Okay, here I am, pretty near ready. I took a little bit of sandpaper and knocked these little nubs off. Don't know whether that's the right thing to do or not, but they're done. We'll see what happens when it's clear coated, whether it covers that, comes back to the right color or not. I don't know. Don't know what'll happen for sure. Over here, the tape was tough on the paint on that leading edge of the door there. So, oh well. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but can you see? Like right here, there's sort of a line down. This is where the paper was covering it. This is where it was open to the air. So that's cured more than that. I don't know. I think we're okay to go clear coat it now, though, because this actually looks pretty good here. That fender turned out all right. So fender's okay, damage to the door, and then a little bit of overspray here, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyhow, we're going to clear coat it and see how it looks. At the very worst, I'll start again. Here we go. Oh, here I am. And some bits look pretty good. Some bits don't look so good. So I put on 2 coats of clear, like the way the instructions say on the bag, on the can. But there's lots of this stuff happened. And now, what can I do about that? I think I can wait a while and then sand it out and buff it out. That's disappointing though. And then on the roof, that's just it's a little bit hazy because there's a bit of overspray on it there, but that'll buff off pretty nice. That'll come nice and clean. This stuff here is going to be a problem. Yeah, well, you know how YouTube loves to have a good failure. Well, here you go. And you should love this one. Like this is all the way along here. It just reacted to the paint. So I think it's salvageable. Everything is salvageable. So what'll I do? I'll just, I should peel off all the tape and stuff. And then we'll go from there. But in the places that look good, look great. pepper right there in the middle of it. How come? And the places that don't look good, like back of the car looks great. Anybody behind me will be happy. But oh yeah, another spot right there. Everywhere you look, there's a little spot of it right there. And you just feel the roughness of it. Eh? It just was reacting to the substrate, or something was happening there. Anyway, that'll be more sanding and more buffing. I think I can get it to sort out all right. And if I have to later, I'll just tape off the rest of the car and clear coat the bits that I have to. Anyway, that's life in my world today, right? So, what'll I do? Will I end this video here? Yeah, I should, because it's getting long enough now anyhow. So, maybe I'll pull the tape off it and have a look without the tape on it. Maybe not. Nope. Save that for next time. We'll pull the tape off, and I'm going to let it sit for about 2 weeks before I do anything to the paint, because that's what I think that'd be the best thing to do. Let it really get good and hard, because I'm pretty sure if I started doing something, it'd just make a bigger mess. So now, the next thing along is working on the motor stuff. Anyway, that's too bad, but that's the way it is. So we'll just carry on till next week and then see how things go next time around. See you later. Yeah, there. So I decided to take all the tape off it and have a look and see how it looks. So the roof looks good, and you know, some of the doors look good. So, but I'm gonna have to take it all, sand it all down, and likely put another coat of base color on, and then get a different clear coat. I'll use the I won't use that same product again, but I will use Rondex. I've got some Rondex there. And so next time I'm doing, next time I put a coat of paint on, I'm going to put hardener in it, just so that it makes the paint a little bit more resilient, I think. Anyway, that's live and learn. So you can't, at least it's not a great big thing like the Volkswagen van, where I had a lot of trouble painting the Volkswagen van, but it wasn't this kind of trouble. It was just a matter of overspray problems. This thing here had the same overspray problems. That product I use for clear here, I think they've got it set so it dries too quickly, and you don't get a chance to see how this looks on the roof here. It's got a bunch of overspray that that'll just wipe off, but that's just overspray from that was dry, and the overspray didn't melt into it, right? It dries too quick. So that Rondex stuff, it's pretty simple. You put on 2 wet coats, it says, and it comes on, looks nice, and it's done. So I'll see if I can find a source for that Rondex stuff again. Anyway, that's all. That's enough for today, enough for this episode. So I'll see you later. Yep, April 12th, 2025. Now, nice day today. Sun's getting through the clouds. Now, just a few days ago, it was like this. Have a look. Yeah, it's very pretty, but this isn't supposed to happen in the middle of April. Oh well. I guess it's April-uary today. Now everything's cleared off now, and all the ice is gone, all the snow is gone. Yay. And it's a pretty nice day out. Not a breath of wind. A bunch of ducks way out there. Yeah, and one tree fell over at the point. And the doggy is happy. Tide's coming in, going out, coming in, I think. Anyway, you hear the seagulls making good noise. Those guys. Okay, see you later.